This is the best way to play Mercy in Overwatch 2. The fundamental reason to why you play Mercy is your damage boost and mobility. Look to enable aggressive teammates, whether that be your tank, DPS or support, and don't just autopilot and pocket a single target. Make sure you look around whilst you're beaming in order to maintain awareness, and whilst you should learn your fundamental techs, don't just spam them off cooldown. Use Valkyrie to enable your team's aggression, don't spam your GA, and utilize cover. Mercy's weapon, the Breakpoint King, makes Mercy either heal 45 healing per second to a single target, which is increased by 50% for teammates under half HP, or it applies a 30% damage boost to a single target up to 15 meters. Your beam, regardless of whether it's healing or damage boost, should be used to assist teammates who are actively aggressing onto the enemy team as much as you can.
Assist active combat as much as you possibly can. That's the simplest way I can put it. Chat, why does he not heal his ball? The important thing is that he's not doing anything right now. He is in the midst of combat. This is who you help. Once this guy's, if the Sigma drops, then you can heal ball. Be like, yo, Hanzo, hang on a second, I'm gonna heal ball. This is the same error you made when you stopped damage boosting your McCree here and went to go back to go res your hog. If this Hanzo dies, it's your fault. If this Hanzo has to back off and the Sigma stays, that's a lot worse.
Aggression is the key thing here. If your soldier, Hanzo or DPS is on a lethal off angle, they better be receiving that beam unless your tank is critical, and if they're full HP, then obviously that's when you would damage boost. There's obviously the pharmacy stuff too. The reason why you pocket Farah is because she's often in aggressive positions looking to get on top of other squishies. But if your Farah is playing too aggressive, or especially if she's playing too passive, like these positions here on Basan Sanctuary, there's just no point in pocketing her. You're either risking your own life, or you might as well be pocketing somebody else. When pocketing, it's also not uncommon for the majority of Mercy players to lose their awareness and go full autopilots.
Farah's got beam, right? So where should your camera be right now? What's going on over here? Are you walking into Soldier LOS right now, or Torb LOS? Is this Orisa going to javelin you? With Mercy, it's almost can be a little bit of a nauseating, constantly checking what's going on left, what's going on right, where's my team, what's going on here, right? Just general awareness of that kind of stuff. And like right here, could you have saved this Hanzo? I don't think so, but you didn't even know that he was critical, nor did you know that he was there, did you?
No.
That's on you.
Keeping on this point of looking around and maintaining that awareness, here's Mineral explaining how looking around can help you position differently and the consequences of tunnel vision with your beam usage.
Look around a lot more. Like you're looking at your Pharah's way too much. You have to always look back. Where's my Widow? Where's my Widow? Not only for her, but she is your defensive pivot. Widow is sort of also part of your group, and she's going to be somewhere behind you, so she's going to be a pivot for you. Like Ana starts shooting you, a diva flies at you, you have to know where the Widow is, because that will determine how far you can move up. Because if you would realize, oh, in this situation I don't have LOS on the Widow, you would reposition differently.
I could put this in the positional section, but awareness is just so important for your beam and your character as a whole that it doesn't really matter. Linking onto this, there's also damage boosting specific instances or bursts of damage. For instance, damage boosting your Sojourn when she has her one-shot ready, damage boosting your Hanzo during a Storm Arrow, your Reinhardt when he fire strikes, Zen after he charges up his right click fully, Hawk after he hooks, etc. If you're more aware of your surroundings, you'll be able to track and damage boost these instances of burst damage. Mercy's first ability, Crazy Ass Movements, makes Mercy fly towards a targeted ally at 17 meters per second up to a 30 meter range with a cooldown of 2.5 seconds. Her Angelic Descent also allows her to slowly glide down at 2 meters per second. I'm not gonna lie, there's about a bajillion Mercy techs out there, so just like in my Lucio guide, I'm gonna use the Pareto principle and cover the Mercy techs that give you around 80 to 90% of the value that you'll get on the hero. As for Mercy settings, since your crouch triggers your ability to super jump, you need to have toggle crouch off. As for toggle to GA, I have it on since it relieves a mental load off my mind having to constantly hold GA, and it could allow me to look around a bit more, but I know some Mercy mains like Skiesti has this setting turned off, so do whatever feels more comfortable. I'm going to split these techs into the Guardian Angel techs and the super jump techs. Starting off with the former. Firstly, the slingshot. Easy to do, just jump and hold W to gain momentum after you GA to your targets. Secondly, the sideways GA. Just hold either A or D on your keyboard after you jump, allowing you to strafe either left or right after you GA without having to change where you look. Thirdly, the backwards GA. Guardian Angel, then hold S, then jump to move backwards. This is really useful to do if you're flying to a target who's in more danger than you initially thought, hence you want to quickly move away. Fourthly, the directional GA. Literally just turn your camera anywhere and jump, and your guardian angel will automatically change directions. Really versatile and snappy, allowing you to quickly flow and bounce between allies, and is best used in Valkyrie. Now onto the super jumps. Starting off with just the normal super jump. Just crouch as soon as you reach your target to fly high in the air. The more charge your bar has, the higher you'll go up. Note that you can super jump anywhere in between you and your targets. You can also super jump by just looking upwards. Super jumps are mainly used to avoid danger by reaching vertical pieces of cover, just like you're seeing in the backgrounds. Most flankers like Tracer and Sombra lack any vertical mobility to chase you afterwards. Next is the stationary super jump. Really easy to do, just shift then immediately crouch afterwards. The penultimate tech I'll cover is the angled super jump. Press shift and then S, almost like you're doing a backwards GA. Then look down and jump when you're close to your target. This super jump will allow you to jump to high grounds behind you, whilst also being able to look at what's in front of you, allowing you to maintain that awareness. Lastly, the super jump res. GA to a target, then look up and jump. Just as soon as you look up and jump, that is when you look down and res. Make sure you jump instead of crouch, since you'll otherwise be out of the Resurrect range. Bit complicated and took me a few tries to nail down. Now into the actual usage of your Guardian Angel, and obviously you use it to reach a target to either heal or damage boost them. But there's a lot of nuance with this ability, and I want to start off with when not to use Guardian Angel. A lot of Mercies love to autopilot and GA to anything they see, when in actuality, this puts you in awkward positions and leaves you without GA on cooldown.
All you need to do is walk forward so that your beam doesn't break to here, and then maintain the beam. All you do by traversing this distance is you put yourself at the risk of more damage, and you remove the cooldown that you might need to escape. So if this Lucio turns around and shoots at you, you still have your Guardian Angel. But if you Guardian Angel across here, and then they're all brawling here, you're gonna have to sit there and take it for 2 seconds.
Especially considering the recent Guardian Angel nerf, and that extra second on the cooldown, you really need to be focused on why you're flying to a target. Not to mention, using Guardian Angel might also cause tunnel vision as you fly to whatever's in front of you instead of taking the time to look around and assess the situation. It's also the risk associated with when you GA. This refers back to the awareness point brought up earlier, but visually look at the environment around your GA targets. Ask yourself, if you fly to them, are you likely to die?
Really don't like this. So you have to, again, value your life way more than anyone else's. You're way more important than a Tracer. Even if your Tracer dies here, it's fine. You guys can fall back, and you already have staggers, your Tracer will be back pretty fast. But if you shift in here and you die, you lose the point.
And lastly, there's the length and shortness of your GA. In other words, you cancel GA to utilize the cover around you and to also look around and maintain that hyper awareness to what is actually going on in the teamfights. Super important for Pharmacy.
They have snipers, so you have to use cover, right? You're gonna reach her. Like, your Pharah can't really go any higher. The skybox on this map is pretty low, so there's no need to go for a shift like this where you go over her head, because now you're completely exposed from this angle from snipers. Maybe a Sombra decloaks here, pokes you a little bit, and then Ashe hits you, and then you're dead. So you have to make sure that you don't overexpose yourself. Do shorter shifts and cut them more often.
Mercy's second ability, Samito's arch nemesis V2, makes Mercy bring back an ally to full HP, taking 1.75 seconds to cast, with a 5 meter max range, significantly decreased movement speed, and a very lengthy cooldown of 30 seconds. If Mercy moves 7 meters out of her range from her res target, the res is cancelled. There's obviously quite a bit of tech with your res. I've already covered the super jump res before, which you use to minimize the movement penalty and to make you more evasive, but there's also crouching from high ground to be within res range, or falling off high ground or flying around a corner to get the res off out of line of sight. Note that you don't actually have to maintain LOS with your res target for the entirety of the duration, just for the beginning. Res usage is actually extremely simple. It's all about minimizing the risk involved in going for the res. That's it. To do that, you can ask for things like a defense matrix or a Zarya bubble, or you can go for the Resurrect at the last moment of that respawn timer when the enemy team likely have their attention elsewhere. Also ask yourself, are there any enemies around the body of the res? Is the body you're resing also around the corner that can minimize risk? If you're in Valkyrie, since you're more mobile, you may want to go for a res because your increased movement reduces the risk involved. Again, this is why awareness is so vital in Mercy, because looking around your environment can give you the information to assess whether going for a res is relatively safe or not.
So it's always about finding the balance between awareness of my team, awareness of where I am on cover, and awareness of the enemy team. And this is what makes Mercy hard. Like right now, is this safe? Well, yeah, it is, but you didn't know that, did you? check what's going on, then make the decision. Guess what? It's fine. But even just if this Orissa's here, she can't kill you, but she's gonna javelin you and cancel the res, right? So like, just do a check.
Mercy's ultimate, Yas Queen, drastically increases Mercy's movement speed, allowing her beam to chain to targets within a 10 meter range, boosting Mercy's healing per second to 60, and has a 15-second duration. I'll also couple in your pistol too, which does 20 damage per bullet with no fall off, and in Valkyrie, your bullets move twice as fast. I'll begin with an old but gold clip from Neandra way back in my 2021 Mercy guide, talking about how to maximize your beam chain, as well as coupling in a Skiesti clip talking about your Guardian Angel techs you'll mostly be using in Valkyrie.
Remember that the beams created by Valkyrie have a range of only 10 meters, which doesn't cover the entirety of many objectives. Keep track of who your original beam target is so you can min-max the amount of impactful allies hit.
I found that when you're in Valk, you'll mostly want to be using directional Guardian Angels to move around fast between targets, and then use the occasional super jump when needed.
In terms of the actual usage, Valkyrie is a tempo ultimate, meaning that you use this to increase or decrease the pace of a fight. Just like with Coalescence, Valkyrie isn't one of those ultimates you pop and automatically kill 5 within 2 seconds. Rather, Valkyrie can double or triple your effective output, giving your team that edge when they start to push into the enemy team, or vice versa. There's also the Battle Mercy, which I obviously can't forget. Thanks to your increased movement and bullet speed, Mercy can actually duel quite a few heroes up close and win out those encounters, especially snipers. Say you're on Blizzard World's 2nd point defense. At the right time, in the right place, you could look to duel any of their squishies on high ground or low ground. Just keep that awareness if you're going to do this. Now onto Mercy's positioning, playstyle and communication. Beginning with the 4 rules coined by Contenders coach Natter, here's an example on Nabani's 2nd point defense. Here, you have hard cover, always important to minimize damage taken. Secondly, you have great line of sight, allowing you to see who needs help where, giving you the information to assess whether flying to someone is too risky or not. Thirdly, you have great distance from angles. Fortunately, the one angle behind you isn't really accessible by the enemy team, and for any flanker who wants to get on top of you, you'll see them coming. And lastly, rotations. This is kind of a weird one for Mercy, since it depends on where your team is playing, and is mostly linked to the 2nd rule of LOS. Now onto Mercy's playstyle. Honestly, there isn't too much to say here. You're always going to be enabling aggression, especially when your DPS take aggressive off angles, and you're almost always looking to keep the distance due to your low sustain. It's why on maps like Elite and Control Center, I advise not playing in White Room if you're keen on running Mercy. You're just gonna get run over, and you could be getting way more value, pocketing an aggressive DPS on the coast, keeping their distance, referring back to that 3rd rule of positioning. And lastly, communication. There's a few key calls you can make. Firstly, if you're pocketing someone like a Farah or Sojourn, and you decide to leave them for whatever reason, make sure you call that.
Now, when you're going for this shift, what do you need to say?
I'm leaving you to Farah.
Now, your Farah has absolutely no idea that you just left her. So you either need to do one, tell her you leave her, and to tell her that she should please save. They have kill potential right now on your Farah. Or number 2, order her to fall back and kill this Winston.
Next, call when you're doing reses for the same reason prior. There's also more team-oriented calls, like calling whether a fight is winnable or losable, ult tracking and fight planning for your team, and ordering your team to get back or to engage. Now onto Mercy's backline synergies. Mercy Kiriko, a versatile option that leans more on the poke side. Whilst Kiriko doesn't have the raw poke that a Zen or Baptiste has, she does have the mobility to go on cheeky flanks to fight off enemy snipers and then TP back, thanks to the burst damage in her kunais. Mercy Brig. If you're getting dove and still want to play Mercy, this is likely your best option. And that's likely thanks to Brig's repair pack buff and your GA nerf. Whilst Brigitte does cover your sustain issue, there may be gaps in damage or utility that other heroes can fill in. Mercy Ana, a basic duo on paper where Ana focuses on healing the tank as well as looking for cheeky nades whilst you take care of your DPS. Keep eyes on your Ana if she gets pressured, and whilst this is a versatile duo, it doesn't offer the utility a Zen could bring, nor does it have the broad capability of something like a Lucio Ana. Mercy Lucio, both relatively mobile healers who spawned the undivable dive comp a while back. Just try not to run this with a broad comp, especially with Reinhardt. Mercy Zen, a brittle glass cannon combo, evident by the low sustain from each hero, but what they lack in sustain, they make up for it in range and utility. Best on long range maps like Junkertown or Circle Royale, and best when paired with Sigma since he doesn't demand much healing. Mercy Moira, kind of a contradictory duo since Moira likes brawly environments whereas you don't. Support your DPS as usual, allowing your Moira to do her own thing, occasionally giving her a helping hand and maybe even boosting her coalescence. Mercy Baptiste, a safer version of Mercy Zen, with Baptiste losing some range, utility and damage in favour for higher sustain. Again, relatively versatile, akin to Mercy Ana or Mercy Kiriko. Consider boosting your Baptiste if he's on a juicy off angle using his window. And that's it for the guides. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and if this video helped to raise your IQ, be sure to share it with your friends to also raise theirs. Until next time.